Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Newcrest and we are building a 3x1 base game only family home. So today I wanted to try and build a family home that was base game only that could house approximately 3 to 4, maybe 5 Sims depending on how you did it, but within that starter home budget. So this build comes in at 20,528 simoleons. It is available on the gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette44, is in the description below. And yes, today I just wanted to I've just been doing a lot of base game only builds and I wanted to kind of give myself this challenge because I don't think in the past I've done a lot of base game builds, base game starter homes that have been able to house like a medium size family, or definitely this doesn't fit a large family by any means, but yeah, anyway, that was today's goal and I wanted to kind of see if I could do it. The floor plan on this, I did take inspiration from Pinterest, just a very basic layout. I absolutely love a one-storied home, and this build had a very minimal shape to it, but I was able to tweak it in a way that the floor plan still made sense. And yeah, so my issue with this particular floor plan was the bathroom. The bathroom turned out to be massive, and I think had I gone back and maybe adjusted things and tweaked things, I would have potentially had made more of a bump out to make some of the spacing different throughout the build, because the bathroom ends up being massive in this particular home. So this middle section that you're seeing here that I'm kind of playing around with, that is kind of a central hallway to the bedrooms. And in the end, I didn't want to have a massive hallway, so I had to give extra room to the bathroom, which then just made the bathroom look massive. And yeah, so I did have a lot of issues with spacing of this particular home, and I think that's because I was too stubborn, I guess, trying to stick to this predetermined floor plan that I saw. And sometimes when you look at things on Pinterest or in real life, it doesn't really fully translate in The Sims, but nonetheless, I still think this is a really solid home. And yeah, it'd be quite a good home to play in just because everything is so accessible. All right, so other things about this particular home. This home looks very empty. So when we get into furnishings, you'll see that, with me trying to stick within this starter home budget, it did end up being very empty. I think the backyard might have maybe a table and some chairs, and that's about it. I wasn't able to really put much into the backyard, but nonetheless, it's a lovely home and it's very spacious. You could gut this home and refurnish it. You could change the floor plan around, and I definitely think that with it being a starter home, you could adapt this house to be kind of like then the next level that they need, or you could just refurnish it as the Sims get more simoleons and whatnot. What I mean by next level is I always find that I create a household, they have a baby, they then need another house because I'll start them out in, I don't know, maybe a 2-bedroom house, then they need a 3, and then they end up needing a 4, and then they always end up in a 5 or a 6 because I'm a legacy player and I really enjoy having large households. And some of my larger builds are some of my favorite. There are a ton on the channel if you'd like to go back and have a look. There are some really lovely larger builds. If that is your thing, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know, are you someone who enjoys playing in larger households, or do you like something a little bit more like this where everything is so spaced out and it doesn't take far for your Sims to walk to places? And yeah, so in the end, we actually removed the far left side. So you'll see out where that kitchen, where the fridge is right now, I've got an archway that leads into an extension. I don't even end up keeping that extension. So the reason I didn't is because I didn't need it. So as you can see, I end up cramming the kitchen, dining, and living in that section, and then obviously your bathrooms off to the side, and then you have the 3 bedrooms. So I didn't even need that kind of additional space. Looking back on it, if I didn't have a starter home budget, I could have made that more of a living area. I could have made that into another bedroom. I could have made that into a garage with a gym or whatever, a skill area. So in the end, I did remove it, and that allowed me to recoup a bit of costs as well, because again, with it being a starter home, with the budget being, sorry, not the budget, with the house coming in at, 20,500 and something odd simoleons, technically, if you are going to have, 4 to 5 Sims in this household, you would actually have more than that. You'd easily have, I think it's like, I want to say it's like 23, 24,000. So bear in mind, you still have enough to download and then play. And I think that that's really good. But it also means that I probably did have a little bit more wiggle room. And I think in future, what I want to do is like maybe make the household and then go to a lot and then build the house, so that you're using the funds that the household actually has. Because normally I build from the Manage World screen, which means that I build and it just has a little infinity symbol down the bottom where it says the price in the build and buy catalog. So I don't know. I don't usually build with any form of a budget. Usually I just build from that screen. So I think it would be worth doing when I'm trying to do like starter homes. Anyway, just kind of talking over the bedrooms. So you've got you've got 2 child's rooms and a adult's room, and they're massive. This master bedroom is huge. And I think one of the kids' rooms, I think it's the front one, the female one, is quite large as well. And you could easily make that a twin room. You could do like a nursery with a playroom, a child's room. Nowadays, there's so many assets for kids and teens. So I'm actually enjoying having larger bedrooms in my builds for that purpose, so that they can get more out of it. At this point, I was trying to work out how I could cram in a dining table. So I decided to take a little bit of inspiration from another base game build that I did, where, you walk in and you have your living room, I guess front and center, like you're walking into that space, and then a dining table off to the side. And this is kind of why I got rid of that far section, because I didn't need it. I could cram everything into this space, and I've gone in with that beautiful baby blue, and it's really cohesive in the space. And that blue is the same as kind of the blue on the exterior of the home. It's like that powder blue. And I've used a bit of blue in the bedrooms as well. So at this point, I'm just kind of making everything smaller. And I guess this is just for budget reasons, because it's a starter home. And then I realized I have to do the back. So I've gone in and put in a porch, and then I'm going in, I think I go in with debug fencing. So debug landscaping and fencing and whatnot really saved me, because I really could not afford to put anything in the backyard. So this is actually quite a large lot. So Midtown Meadows in Newcrest is the lot that I'm building on today. And I usually build, 2-story family homes, medium-sized family homes. I generally build quite big homes on this lot. So building something that actually turned out to be quite small was quite of a challenge, because I had a lot of empty space. So I started off with some basic landscaping, some trees and shrubs, and then I found some fencing that looked all right. And look at the backyard, it is massive. I could literally build a second house on this lot with the amount of space in this backyard. So I tried to reduce the amount of space I had with the fencing. So as you can see, I'm being very particular with this, how much I'm mapping out, the space that I'm mapping out with this fencing. And then what I'll do is go in, pretty confident, I'll go in with some trees and just make it look like it's intentional and that it's lived in. But again, as you expand in this particular lot, you can build out and you can make a bigger house. You could build something, you could add more to the backyard, you could furnish it more. You could do so much with this build. And again, it's already a 3x1. It's already a really solid sized home. So yeah, and I think that's what I really like about this build. What I don't like about this build, looking back at it, is I don't like the exterior wallpaper. I wish I would have changed it. I don't think I like the baby blue. I think that it needs to be darker, or it needs to have a little bit more texture to it. But I have tried to pair in the blue in the landscaping with the Leiloing flowers. So these are debug Leiloing flowers that have these little bright blue flowers in them. And I've used them in this case, and I think it works. I don't normally use them. I've been really enjoying using the blank Leiloing flowers that you get from the debug menu of other packs. But this is a base game only build. And yeah, I thought that they worked well. All right, so those big oak trees were perfect. So they're part of base game, so it's very similar design to what you'll see in Willow Creek. And they take up so much space, which is exactly what I needed it to do in this particular build because I had so much space. I've gone in with some terrain paint for the pathing, and this just really made it come to life. It allowed me to fill the space all the empty space that I had, so I could connect the front to the back. And again, I would love to have put in a pool. I think you could have put in a tree house in this particular build and just really done some clever things, but I just didn't have the simoleons. So yeah, at this point I'm just paving, I guess, where I tend to have a paved part where I have a barbecue and an entertainers area, and then I generally have, maybe a gardening section and things like that. I have the most basic landscaping ever. I don't do very intricate builds. I do quite classic standard family homes, and that's generally what you would see on this channel. All right, at this point, I'm really trying to, finalize everything. And as you can see, I have this massive bathroom. It is huge. And it's all because of this hallway. I didn't want this central hallway to be massive, so I decided to have a bigger bathroom. All right, this is the lonely chairs and umbrella table that I put in. And I was able to put in a monkey bars. I had totally forgotten about that, but that is really good. All right, we are live in game and we're going through the tour.